joined the study circle because I want to learn. I want to know what's happening in this country. I want to know how to tackle the problem of this country, how to go forward. That's why I joined the study circle.
After apartheid ended in 1994, we made huge strides in creating a democratic framework in our country. However, the socio-economic inequalities are very huge, and in fact South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world today. It is therefore important for members of organizations to be able to look at how they can change the situation.
That's why we are fighting the better wage. We want to be equal. We don't want some of us earning more than. We want the better wage. We want to tackle the racism in this country. That's what we want. We don't want some of us paying 2.5, some of us paying 4,000. We want, if we're starting from 4,000, we want all to start in that money. That's what we want.
Inequality is affecting domestic workers. If you look at the hours they're working, it's not the fixed hours that they work, it's unfixed hours and they don't get paid. The rooms is not to their satisfaction. Holidays, they must work and without getting paid. And the problem is when it comes to December. Although we got the laws and every year the 1st in December, they say there's increase for workers, but there's workers who works for maybe 3 to 4 years who don't get increase. If we look at domestic workers, we are isolated, we don't get proper education, and we even leave school in the early ages to become the breadwinners of the family.
When we started this program, the first thing we did was to meet with a range of organizations in Cape Town, trade unions, community organizations, and we discussed with them what educational programs they have and what are their educational needs. We then went through a process of selecting facilitators and training facilitators from these organizations. And we trained them in the study circle methodology, which basically is a methodology of starting from the experience, the level at which the participants are at. It's a flexible methodology, allowing learners to develop at their own pace. So materials that are used and educational resources that are used is something that must be in line with the experiences of the study circle participants. In the past year, we've just made the first step of establishing study circles and ensuring that study circles are able to host activities and the participants are learning in this process and very active in this process.
Our first activity was a public event which we held in July. It was a Youth Day of Action Against Violence, Crime and Drug Abuse. And the goal that we had set out to achieve through that event was to encourage and motivate young people to talk about community issues and issues that are affecting youth, as well as to educate youth about the dangers and implications of getting involved in crime, gangsterism, as well as drug abuse.
It's also a very fun process. It allows participants to interact with each other and learn from each other in that.
We shared the load. The load was not in one person only. It was all in us. Everybody had a chance to speak. All participants were speaking.
Grassroots activists, members that are involved, that want to bring about certain changes, and the study circles helps to bring them together and to identify a concrete problem around which they develop programs to lobby or to recruit or to organize or to negotiate. And the study circles improve their capacities as grassroots activists to bring about that change.
We don't know the rights. Even the union, we help the union because we give the study circle the information and then they can take to the union.
circle, the choir was born. We are going out there to do our recruitment at the shopping malls where workers go, singing while we do our pamphlets.
The choir is to promote our union, is to organize the unorganized, is to bring workers on board, bring them together.
The goals that we set is to campaign within the state government for the recognition of care work as a real work. We constitute a dialogue in community, looking at the challenges that we are facing as community care workers. We are working in a twilight world of vulnerability. No one who is responsible for the challenges that we get.
The study circles allows for the process of self-learning, it allows for the process of collective learning, and it's a lifelong process of learning involving members at the grassroots level to be able to tackle issues and bring about some change that creates a more equal society.
The union is not just there for the money. We want to give something back to the workers and to the communities, and that is why this study circle is the most important thing in our lives.
The two lessons that we'd like to share is that processes take time and that patience and perseverance are actually the key to a successful study circle.
What I learned from the study circles first, which is different to other educational institutions, is that here you learn by doing. It's your own intellectual, but you get the guidance as to what you want to do, and you get assistance that makes you think broader about the things that you want to do. It's like the platform where we gather and share our personal experiences and the challenges that we get in the work that we are doing. That's what keeps us going. Other than that, we could have just sitting in the corners and do nothing.
All I can say is that if you join the third cycle, you're not wasting the time. You join the right thing, you know, because you learn each and every day.